You're now listening to the Something Good Podcast Network. Please press any key to continue.
Hey folks, this is Morrison from the Couch Potatoes, and we need to let you know firsthand that this is a graphic show that isn't for everyone. So please go in with a little bit of discretion, and if you don't like it, fuck off.
The only motive was to completely control a person and keep them with me as long as possible.
They are a product of the times that you have left us behind.
I have killed people for nothing. Just for somebody to look at me wrong, I would kill them.
Maybe I should have killed 400 or 500 people, then I would have felt better. Then when I felt like I really offered society something.
And you're going to get your asses nuked in the end. And pretty soon it's coming. 2019, a rock's supposed to hit you anyhow. You're all going to get nuked.
Are you mad? Do you feel like...
And I'm telling you because the cops let me keep killing them, Nick. Don't you get it?
Oh yeah, he did. He did. He reported it. He got his money back or a new delivery. I'm not fucking hunting you down. It's happened to me. I know what happens. Enjoy your free pizza. I'm getting another one.
But speaking of hunting people down,
hey, welcome to this week's edition of the Couch Potatoes. I'm Alex.
This is Cap.
Morrison.
And longtime listeners know that every so often we'll bust in and do an episode of That Murder Show. And this is kind of like a not really a That Murder Show. This is the Couch Potatoes, as I said earlier, but fuck it, I want another excuse to use the intro. I love the intro.
Hanging out.
Not quite. But I don't know, just a compilation of all the different killers and just that rock and roll theme. I just wanted another reason to use it again. Yeah. So welcome to a fake episode of That Murder Show. Usually on this show we talk about serial killers and their horrible acts and where they are today and kind of do a little breakdown. But this time we're actually gonna we're
talking about the real monster.
Yes, us as we the people. Why we're actually interested in this stuff. We teased it last week and we figured, fuck it, let's go ahead and do it this week. Just the idea of like our fascination with serial killers, the macabre, true crime. Even though like I've had that, I feel like everyone's had the thought of like, could I kill someone? Would I kill someone? Why would I kill someone? And it's like you go through the mental thing of like, could I? Would I? And of course we should end up at the thing of like, I won't. But it's like, so even as we as people know that we're not going to do something, we're still drawn into knowing the ins and outs of people that did.
Yeah, it's like you look at somebody like a Ted Bundy, for example, and you're like, this fucking guy?
Right. So it's like, again, even someone like kind of unassuming. It's like you kind of want to delve into it and kind of learn why. But why do we as people want to do that even if we have no connection to it? Because like, for instance, Cap and I like watching music documentaries. Well, we have a connection to that. We're musicians. We understand the process and we enjoy watching the construction of it down to the point where, we'll watch a 10-hour documentary on the Beatles.
Yeah, 10-hour documentary on the Beatles. Or like, I think that connects with like the true crime stuff because a lot of the musicians that you see on these fucking documentaries are fucking psychopaths.
Right, but it's like, but at least we have a connection to that documentary we're watching because we're musicians.
Yeah.
Well, I've never killed anyone. I've never even like gotten in a physical altercation with like, someone that is like close to me, that kind of thing. So it's not even like I've had like a domestic problem, I'm not like an angry, outlashing person. So it's like, but I'm still utterly fascinated by like killers. Why is that?
I think part of it comes from like as kids, your mom or your dad or whoever's raising you tells you that there is good and then that there is evil. There is with a lot of communities it's God and the devil that possess a human to do the things that they do. But as we get older and you kind of you study, if people get into this kind of thing, the true crime lore and the behavioral psychology of it, that's what it is. It's the psychology of it. You figure out what makes the Ted Bundys of the world tick, or if you're interested enough, you find out what drove this person to do this thing, because I wouldn't do this. This is a fucking atrocious crime, but you can't, it fascinates you to a point because there's a science to it.
And I think it connects with a lot of people because we didn't actually talk about this on our reality show, mainly because it's kind of crosses the line of reality into just sick fucks, but like To Catch a Predator. One of the biggest shows for the longest time was about pedophiles.
And I watched all of that shit.
Oh yeah, we would sit down as a family and watch it. And it wasn't even as like a cautionary tale of, hey Alex, you better watch out what you do online. Don't talk to strangers. It was just
Watch them get this piece
of shit. Yes. It's like, let's just watch these motherfuckers, like these absolute garbage humans go down.
Well, it's like with watching Cops when you see somebody just take down like a drug dealer or some shit like that. It's like the same reactionary based.
Right.
I can either confirm or deny if I've murdered someone or been in a physical altercation with friends or family. That's my business. However, you were talking about the intrusive thought.
Yeah.
So this goes back to, you were talking about music documentaries about the Beatles. What is it, the Beatles, that fascinates you? Is it their success, their form? It's all these things,
right?
Because you guys are musicians. You guys can get to that. What they can't. You can do what they do, but they're up here.
Right.
They're doing something you haven't got to yet.
And only like one out of a generation ever get to reach.
Now, that goes into the human suffering part of it. Those people who kill, that thing that says in their mind, like, nah, I shouldn't hit him with a brick. Nah, I want to. I really fucking want to. And your body reacts to saying, and this ain't just a societal thing. This isn't a nature versus nurture thing. This is, can I block out that intrusive thought?
Well, then it becomes like you search for validation and things like that.
They don't need it. They, in their mind, especially your more hardcore people like your serial killers and stuff like that, that's gone. Something has clicked in their brain saying, I have the right to kill.
Well, isn't that validation too?
Yeah. But like they have a self-righteousness about it. But they know, like, society, based on the way it is, they're not like, oh man, they're not gonna be cool with me.
This world isn't meant for
a bunch
me.
of motherfuckers, and that goes to like cult leaders too, generals, presidents, dictators, and stuff like that.
Yep.
But it overshadows the idea of like, who the fuck's gonna stop me? Because that's another part of intrusive thoughts. Like when you're thinking about killing a guy in front of his wife while ripping his teeth out, you're just like, I probably shouldn't do that because the cops would blow my fucking brains out. Yeah. And I like being alive, but I want to do it again. And
life sometimes sucks, but at least I'm still here.
Yeah. But like that whole thing in your brain is like clicking off because it happens to me a lot.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, I'm just like, no, I'm not going to kill him. No, because that's fucking insane.
Yeah. I may have thought about it all day, but I'm not gonna.
And I think a lot of people don't trust their intrusive thoughts enough.
What do you mean by that?
I think it's okay to think about doing something terrible as a way of being cathartic with it. So, like, some people beat the fuck out of shit, like their wives.
Or drywall.
Yeah. A nice little cow running around. Monster. But, like, it's, you do need an outlet. But I think thinking about it and, really thinking about it can be cathartic. Like, I'm never, and I say this on the podcast, I would never hunt a human down unless I have the money to. Like, because it costs money to hunt people, around $250,000. Well,
he's done the research.
Inflation, $350,000. Gas is expensive. Yeah. So is land. But that's more about fascination than anything.
Yeah.
But I think it's cathartic if you think about, why do I want to do this? Guys especially, because guys can be super aggressive.
It's the testosterone thing.
Yeah, well, it's a chemical imbalance, like it calls it. But you have violence, physical violence, and abuse, which are the traits of most men killers. Women are more methodical.
Yeah,
it's a plan. That's why most women
poison this motherfucker.
Yeah, well, that's why most women don't get caught, because they sit down and kind of be cathartic about the way they kill. Now you still got your, pull the gun, blow the fucker her away, kind of like Eileen Warnos. Yeah, but she was more of a dude.
She was more of a child than anything.
But like I say, like she was violence first. When we talk about these people, what fascinates us is they can turn that off. They can turn off and be like, yeah, let me just do it. I'm not going to think about it. I'm just going to fucking do it, and that's it.
Yeah.
The ones you got to worry about are the people who think about preventing violence, but not the consequence. Mm-hmm. You talk about methodical killers like cult leaders, like, oh no, I'm gonna create a utopia in fucking South America.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh yeah, that's great. And then like shit goes wrong, just a small little thing.
They start fucking.
Some fucking person's like,
It's always about sex. That's the thing too.
One person's like, hey man, this is kind of weird question, but it's just like, can we leave? And he's like, no, everyone gather round and we'll tell you why you can't leave.
Yeah.
Because it would fuck my brain up on why I justified killing people to get here.
Now start fucking.
Yeah. But like, you know, and the psychology behind a killer and a cult leader is totally different. Ted Bundy could have been a great cult leader because he's so narcissistic.
Well, he wanted to be a politician.
Yeah, which is a cult leader.
Yeah.
You know, it's a thought experiment of power.
Yeah.
A power dynamic, which is why he's a rapist. Okay, that's what that is. It's a power thing, plain and simple.
That's how a lot of these killers were. It's a power thing.
But you got someone like Jim Jones, who insulted the power through religion, because we see it all the time. You know, I got God on my side, and you can too. You know.
Well, I find it interesting that you kind of led into that.
Because when you go to religion, it justifies the intrusive thoughts.
The validation.
Interesting you said that. I actually have an opposite point. I feel like hardcore religion, I don't want to cast a huge umbrella just on Christianity, but on hardcore religion,
Episcopalians. That was a grocery store word.
Gerald Ford.
Actually, let me back up a little bit. So you're already kind of just saying that having the intrusive thoughts helps with the catharticism. It can help without, actually fully going through with it. Well, in some hardcore religious sects, you hear things of like, even if you think of coveting a woman or coveting your neighbor's wife or having sex with a woman, because you had those thoughts, you're as guilty of having sex with her as you actually are of just doing it.
And that's one of the 10 Commandments,
So,
but that goes into social constructing.
But what I'm saying though is, so maybe the people that feel like they can't even acknowledge the intrusive thoughts because then they are no better than a serial killer, kind of just form into it because they can't reject the intrusive thoughts.
Yeah, because they've tried to tamp them down too long.
And it just bubbles up and bubbles up. Same thing with like the whole premarital sex, hardcore, no masturbation thing. Those are the ones that usually turn up into sexual predators because they were the ones that were pinned up for so fucking long that is all coming out at once. And then maybe there's a weird correlation to that with serial killers.
And
a lot of them it was.
And you have different fans of killers. You have the ones like, oh man, I love watching a documentary like City Confidential, Forensic Files, First 48.
Netflix docs now, they're just littered with
you're just watching, you're like, oh man, that's crazy. I couldn't, I don't even know what I would do in that situation. Yeah. And then you have the other fan. The one is like, no, you don't understand. Ted Bundy probably killed like 100 motherfuckers, and I could tell you a story why I think that. And it's like,
and which fan are you?
Yeah. None of your business. But
as you start rattling off that second one, pretty fucking easy.
But that other fan, treats it like a hobby.
Yeah.
Now we watch stuff. We like watching human suffering. That's a goddamn fact.
Yeah.
People need it. People need it to keep going.
That's why there's horror movie fans.
Or listen to our reality TV episode.
Yeah. We want to see people fail. Now, you can justify whatever you want to say. It's like, no, I don't. I'm just like, really?
It's like anybody that's listening that's a sports fan, you love it when your least favorite team gets beat the shit out of.
You want that other team to die.
Yeah.
Why do we root for the villain in the movies sometimes?
Because they're morally white.
Maybe not morally right.
Jason is. Jason is keeping people from committing sin on his property.
Yes, he's
doing the Lord's work.
He's a fucking allegory for Jesus.
What would Jesus do? Kill them motherfuckers.
Kill them premarital sex havers.
Drugs in the community. Ronald Reagan and Jesus would be proud. But I think what fascinates us with horror is the fantasy of it, because it's so over the top. There are killers. We've talked about them before who do go over the top.
But,
but we've never seen one that does like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Liberal Damage.
Oh, but that was based on a true story, Chris.
It's all based off fucking
That's the story.
Ed Gein and all that.
Yeah, it's a combination of like 7 motherfuckers.
Yeah.
7
that
equal
was the joke.
1.
That was the joke.
I know. You showed me a photo of a 6'5", 320-pound dude that could run a 440 with a chainsaw. I'm like, he shouldn't be a killer. He should play for the Rams.
Yeah.
What the
Give
fuck?
this man a football.
Give this man a football so he could suffer for us.
Yes.
We want bread and circuses is a real thing.
Yeah.
You know, it failed during the pandemic because NCAA canceled the basketball tournament, and Baylor ended up winning the whole thing in 2021. But in 2020, they didn't have one, remember?
Yep, exactly.
They didn't have it. They canceled it. And that was a mistake on the ruling government because, oh, fuck, we just canceled the second largest sporting event in America. People are going to get fucking antsy as shit. And then people started second guessing themselves. Well, why the fuck did they cancel this and not the NFL?
Yeah.
Why did they cancel this and not baseball? It doesn't make any sense. It might be fake. It might be just fucking bullshit. And it's like, God damn it. No, we stopped that because we didn't want college kids to contract a fucking disease from some asshole from Texas.
Right.
And
Indoors.
die. But like, it's a thing that we can break more realistically in our minds of it's okay to watch people suffer as long as I'm not suffering.
Right.
Or I'm suffering. I don't want to see something happen worse to someone else. It kind of gives you an empowerment a little bit of, oh no, I'm not addicted to heroin. I'm better than this junkie.
Yeah, at least
Fuck
I'm not.
'em.
At least I'm not. Fill in the blank.
Yeah, at least I'm not some meth head, ripping my fucking teeth out.
Right.
It's always a one step forward and a 2 step back for the other person.
Well, it's like when people go. It's like social media too. You go on Facebook, you see somebody, putting their problems out. Folks can be like, "Well, at least I'm not that fucking guy." You know.
And social media, I think. I'm not going to blame social media like everyone else a little bit.
It's definitely part of the problem.
It can fix it.
But it's not going to.
No, because we're human beings.
Exactly.
Like I said, we want to watch suffering, but we also want to make people suffer.
Yeah.
We want to dox people. We want to ruin their motherfucking lives. Hey, did you know blah blah blah? His daddy was a pedophile. Did you know that? Or something? Well, that doesn't make him any lesser. He's just a person.
Yeah.
But nah, he's
the sins of his father doesn't get cast down on him.
Yeah, and like I love Facebook is like the destruction of the family unit.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, why do you don't talk to your cousin no more? Oh man, he has a red flag. I got a black flag. It doesn't make sense. It's like, no, fuck that dude. Yeah. He roots for team number 2. Fuck him. I don't want to talk to him. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Oh, he voted for so and so. Man, that dude's a fucking douchebag. That means he's stupid as shit. Why do I want to talk to him? And it's a division of. It's a
community.
Yeah, it's a division of community, and it's a line in the sand you're putting yourself in every fucking time, and it's destructive to the mind. It is. You could read a book and come out with a new perspective on something. You were talking about Neil Gaiman, me and you.
Yeah,
we were reading a book. So when you finish that book, do you ever feel like, oh fuck, I finished the book. Now I'm just like, I gotta find another book.
Yep, exactly.
You kind of feel bad. You hear a story. It's like, I want to go to the next story. What's next?
Or it's like any piece of media. You finish it and you want to consume something else. It's like true crime, same thing. So
and that's the problem because we treat human suffering the same way. Man, I watched these 3 kids get hemmed up in prison. They may have murdered 3 kids. They didn't, but West Memphis, Arkansas said they did.
Yeah.
So like, I gotta watch. I gotta know. I want to watch.
I need the context. I
don't want to just watch about the murder. I want to watch the deconstruction of the ruling party. Fuck it up, because that's another part of true crime. Failure of the people we elect is fascinating.
Yes,
because Stephen Avery.
Yep.
That is a government failure. Day in,
regardless if he did it or not.
Yeah, it's a failure on the public for electing these people. And now those electorate have failed.
Same with West Memphis 3.
And it goes into not just the failure of government, the failure of the person in government. Oh man, he got his dick sucked in the White House. What a dumbass getting caught.
Yeah.
And what happened? She was shamed.
Yeah.
We loved watching her suffer.
She became the villain.
Yeah. We loved watching her suffer. And it's fascinating because we watch it on all sides.
Yep.
Like, when I'm watching a football game and I see a hit, and I mean a hit, and you know what I'm talking about.
When we hear the stadium just go, ooh.
And, or no, we hear the click.
Yeah.
You hear those two helmets click. You just their brains have just went all the way back and slammed forward, and they probably just forgot 2 birthdays. All right, and it goes to like assassinations too. Like people are fascinated by the death of John F. Kennedy.
Probably still the biggest conundrum of conspiracy.
Yeah, but they talk about just the gore of it. Back and to the left, you know, his head explodes. And it's just like, yeah, we love seeing that shit.
Yeah.
We love watching, like,
Put that shit on replay.
like Faces of Death.
Yep.
We love watching human suffering. We just love it. And it's the shit. It's the bee's knees, or whatever the kids say these days. Lit, whatever.
Dick's bananas, as my friend Ben would say.
It's the Dick's Bananas.
Dick's Bananas. Wow, okay.
Yeah,
all
let that
right.
settle for a little bit.
And it goes kind of past true crime. We love seeing, you know, famous people fail. You know, you got a whole podcast about Kiss, and you're about to hit a part of their career that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we love it. We fucking love it.
It's like, that's the thing. It's like we get to that part where it's like it gets to the shit, but that's been the more fun part of it. It's like,
but you know, you guys have developed listeners on the Kiss on the Kiss podcast, just because, you know, we're watching the rise, the plateau, and the fall.
Yep.
You know, and it's fascinating to watch people fail, like the Osbournes. You know, it's like Ozzy's just a dude, you guys.
yeah,
He takes off the makeup just like Gene Simmons.
Yep.
And he's just a dude.
he's not the prince of fucking darkness. He's just, you know,
He lives in a mansion
It's just
with a
John-
nice wife, kind of shitty kids, and like.
I don't know. I feel like that's reversed.
I was
The
gonna
kids
say
are
the
better
wife's
and the
kinda
shitty wife.
But you know, we love watching that, and a good example of this was I got roped into true crime by sitting in the living room with my dad, watching City Confidential.
Okay.
City Confidential was a simple show. We'll go to a town, a small town murder. If you get a chance, anyone listen to this, listen to Small Town Murder on Spotify. It is fascinating. 2 comedians do it. It's great. But anyway, City Confidential works the same way. They go, the narrator is great. And it talks about, hey, you know, this old couple lived in this house. These dudes rolled up, slaughtered them, and now the race is on. And then the cops find out this happened, and now, okay, cool. You know, we caught the guy. There is an ending to the story. It's not
Right.
open-ended. It's not Unsolved Mysteries where it's
Right,
like
right.
aliens or some shit. This, you know, point A, killer caught, point B, end of story.
Right.
And it's fascinating because you're like, why the fuck would he do that? He's a gardener. Why would he just go in there with an axe and just start killing these motherfuckers?
Well, so I've been kind of holding on to a segment topic, but that actually just leads into it perfectly. One of the aspects that I've actually enjoyed the most, so I wonder what it says about me and my enjoyment of human suffering, is not even necessarily the crime itself. I fall into rabbit holes of watching the interrogation videos and watching them squirm through different lies or tell the half-truths and trying to watch them construct certain narratives. And I like it when like the person making the video kind of like sometimes pauses it and they're like, by this point the cops are already know and they have DNA evidence showing that, you know, Mr. So-and-so did in fact kill his wife with a sledgehammer. So they are asking leading questions to see just how truthful he'll be. So pay attention to his exact answers and his body language when they bring up specific details. Click. And they'll like go back into the interrogation video. That's the stuff that I love watching.
So you love a mental breakdown.
or the motherfuckers that try to be cute.
Yeah.
During the interrogations, like who was the big motherfucker?
Ed Kemper.
Ed Kemper. Yeah, you listen to his confessions or his interrogations. He's just like just cool as cucumber, just making jokes.
Because he knows he's his inner thoughts, his intrusive thoughts have already been played out.
Yeah,
He has no more intrusive thoughts, and he pretty much just turns himself in.
he just knew exactly. That's the fucked up thing. Like
But
he knew
you got-
exactly what he was doing.
He reached his catharsis,
Yeah,
which was skull fucking.
yeah.
You know, but that was his catharsis. But he didn't have that stopping point that some of us have.
Yeah.
Okay, when you have that stopping point, it's great, but you can't let it erode. Okay.
Well, see, the one it's kind of a popular one. You may know who I'm talking about. Jared Murray. His interrogation video is so fascinating because, and they kind of described it a few different times in the video itself, but it's like he was so calm, cool, and collected, and so a matter of fact with everything. Like every time he was asked a question, it was yes sir, yes sir, yes sir.
Yeah.
I mean, I could make a compilation of how many times he said yes sir, and it would be like 15 minutes long. Like his answer to everything was that, and he's like, well, why don't you? What he did was it was a premeditated murder. I think he was a college student. He sought out one of the other people that was part of the dorm. He knocked on his door, asked for a ride to Walmart. Once they got to the parking lot of the Walmart, pulled a gun on him and said, now we're going to yada yada, which was going to be further up north, closer to Canada, and shot the dude while he was driving, got out of the car, ran around the front, pulled him out, tossed him in a ditch, and tried to get a getaway. The cops pulled him over, immediately surrenders, and confesses everything. Mm-hmm. And so they're like basically they're basically just kind of but like it's still an hour-long interrogation video, because essentially they have to figure out if he had an accomplice, if he truly did it by himself, everything else. But they're like asking him, they're like, okay, well, why did you decide right then and there that was the time to kill him? He goes, it was just the time. Like everything is just so calm and collected, and just like almost as if he knew every question that was gonna be asked and had straightforward answers for it. And it's such an very fascinating like interrogation video.
What time period was this?
Maybe mid to early 2000s.
Okay.
Well, this is kind of a fucked up thing to think about, but not all killers are bad people.
Yeah.
Like legitimately.
Like
not,
this kid kind of had something wrong with him. Like, cause it
Well, you gotta
almost seemed
think
like
about-
he had like an
Well, no
autism
shit.
type thing. Well, yeah, duh. I mean, you know what I mean.
But
Yeah,
picture
yeah.
this. Picture this. You know, he's building up this idea in his head. Mm-hmm. He's been able to stave it off.
Yeah.
Okay. Intrusive thought. He acts on it.
Yeah.
Kills that man. Now, no more intrusive thought. It's gone. I've killed someone. Mm-hmm. Oh fuck. Now I'm a bad person. No one wants to be a bad person. Philosophy tells us we're not bad people.
Right.
We don't want to be bad people. But once you do that bad thing, are you still a bad person? Mm-hmm. And that's probably what I see would happen. Was he realized he made a mistake, confessed to everything, and that was that.
Yeah.
Now,
but he had no remorse.
Yeah.
That was the interesting
Well,
wrinkle in it all.
Remorse is just the construct of society. You need to feel bad because you had premarital sex or heroin.
He did not feel. He was very matter of fact about everything, but felt no remorse toward it.
Guilt is raised in you. I 100% believe that.
Yeah.
I believe it's not nature. I believe guilt is something you're raised with.
Yeah.
Okay.
You should feel bad because you did this thing. Mm-hmm. Okay.
That is a parenting thing.
Yep.
Well, it's not just a
I believe
parenting. It's
that.
a society. It's a community, either a religious community or anything like that. It's
Or just the law in general.
yeah, you need to feel bad. Mm-hmm. It's not enough that you have consequence. You got to feel bad too.
Yeah.
We need that.
Which is kind of when you phrase it like that, that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, but you need.
But it's like it is so necessary. But when you phrase it exactly like you just did, we don't need you to just be punished. We need you to feel bad.
Yeah.
That's kind of a fucked up way of thinking about it, but it is such a true statement in that we do need the personal aspect of that apology, not just the words.
and everyone has a set of words that breaks them from a specific person. If that person says a string of words, and you got to think about this, it's just words.
Yep.
And it breaks you.
Yep.
Think about your wife, your kids.
Well, not just that, but like, if say you fucked up, let's say you killed someone with your car because you were drinking and driving or some shit, and your mom's like, I thought better of you and I was wrong. Think about how fucking heart-wrenching that is.
It's like you sound nothing like my mama, but that's still cut.
I was
just
going to
enough.
say, they get rid of the tone.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, if a parent or someone you respect's like, I thought you could do better. I thought I was wrong about you for having faith in you. That is shame.
Yeah.
That is guilt, and we need that because it prevents us from doing stupid shit sometimes.
Yeah. You don't want to make mama upset.
But when it comes to the intrusive thoughts of causing suffering and pain, I think for me, it helps me. I can't say what for you,
Yeah.
or you, but like I could say that. Okay, if I'm thinking about committing violence against someone, I really fucking think about it.
Yeah.
To the extent of, and it could just be some light shit.
Yeah.
Like he forgot my fucking like liquor in the car or some shit. I'm just like, oh my god, these people aren't people. I need to kill them all.
His house needs to be burnt to the ground.
I'm just like, his name should be stained in the blood of the book. Like, I'm just like, and I think about that. I'm like, that's how George Bush Sr. was. Like, I'm 86 in this motherfucker's family. And then George Bush Jr. is just like, yeah, hey, I painted a dog. Fuck you! Oh, another artist doomed in another genocide. See, this is what happens when you don't promote art, parents. Yes. They become genocidal maniacs. This is why we can't trust art critics or the Jews.
And maybe this is why musicians are partly interested in true crime, because we do have at least an outlet to kind of get out those aggressions. Because I do know that, like, same thing with you.
I think
the
it's the thing
intrusive thoughts can really get overwhelming, but then you can have, at least for us, that musical release.
Or creatives in general, write a story about it. Create characters that do all of your murderous fantasies.
Yeah, and it's like maybe this isn't fully connected, but it still flows with the idea of having that release. I remember mid-lockdown when we had no music whatsoever. Music venues weren't even talking about being open yet. And I was able to go down to Atlanta to see my friends Light Machines. And they have a huge practice space. Like, it's as big as their studio. And like the practice space area is like a miniature club. Like, it's the size of the Milestone in this fucking thing. And they did the whole set as a practice, and that was like the first time in nearly a year I had gotten like live music, and all the major problems I felt like I was having immediately washed away, at least for the day. Like, I was on a high the rest of the day just from that 30-minute loud music that I got. So it's like, so I don't know. It feels like that still connects in with that all of a sudden gave me that physical and mental release of, okay, the extra stresses and the other intrusive thoughts have kind of gone away now because I've gotten that nice cathartic release of the music.
Anybody who has a creative outlet can have a more sympathetic viewpoint in life because you're able to get it out. Because that intrusive thought's not there anymore, and
I'm just going to write a song about killing this motherfucker instead of actually doing it.
But like, it's not
Tupac made a whole career on that.
Yeah, exactly.
and it's not just that, because a killer is multifaceted in mental capacity.
Right.
So you take someone who's not as creative like me. Mm-hmm. Does that?
Well, you do art, you draw,
but
and you
like,
come up with amazing games.
Yeah, but like if I didn't do that, like if I just 9 to 5, constantly in and out, it's going to build.
Yeah,
it's going to build. Now, I'm trying to find the best way to explain this. A killer could treat their shit like a job or a hobby.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Dahmer treated it like a job. He didn't like doing it.
We kind of saw that in Batman a little bit. The Joker was even kind of taking it like a job.
Yeah.
I mean, Riddler, sorry. Without spoiling it, he was doing it like a job. He was exposing.
He felt like it was his duty.
It was his job.
Because that's kind of all based on like QAnon kind of shit.
Mm-hmm. And the Zodiac Killer.
Yeah, Zodiac Killer. But yeah, that's interesting. I haven't heard this take with like killers and stuff like that, where they treat it like Dahmer. You say that he treated it like a job. He didn't want to. He had to get blackout drunk in order to do it.
Because some people do that when they go to work. They take drugs or do something to do that job. How many actors have you heard got blackout drunk to film a scene they really didn't want to fucking do?
I know fucking bartenders that have to get fucking that smoke up before their shifts to get through their night shifts.
They need Bailey's in the coffee.
They need something to handicap their mental capacity.
Yeah,
just a little bit, just enough. If I could, I'd give my employees cocaine just so they could work faster. Because
I would too. I was ranting about that earlier.
I need them to be not thin-skinned. They're now can I?
So that's how the industrial revolution was fueled by fucking meth
and children.
Yes.
Yeah.
Children on meth.
So another aspect of this is, do you feel empathy for another person? Like if you were to tell me something bad happened, like you had told me during the outbreak that your parents had caught corona, right? Mm-hmm. I genuinely felt empathy because I don't want that to happen to my fucking family because they're older. It's a risk, you know. I'm genuinely would genuinely feel bad.
Yeah.
Like if you had got sick or someone I knew had got sick because of this fucking thing that's going around. That's empathy. We need that.
Yeah.
Apathy, though, the absence of caring is because you're not getting rid of your intrusive. In my belief, if you can't get rid of intrusive thoughts, you become more apathetic about life. Oh, fuck him. My life's worse than that shit.
Yeah.
My dad said that to me one time. He's like, of all the things you've been through, you know, losing a kidney, constant surgeries, being under the knife, the fear of dying constantly. How do you do it? I'm just like, I'm better than that motherfucker. That's why. like I have to have that level of empathy to not put myself too far up,
right,
over suffering. You know, oh man, you lost your dog, man. That's fucking sucks, man. Are you okay? Like, yeah. But if I had let this thing that happened to me get to me, I'm just like, oh, your dog died, motherfucker. I almost died in the fucking hospital last week. Fuck you. You know?
But instead, you work it around, and you're like, oh, well, I understand XYZ because I've kind of even been through that. So even sometimes human experience helps with the empathy.
You need, and that's the great thing about true crime. We can experience a minuscule of suffering by watching people suffer. Like you watch, you know, me and him, you know, watch football and stuff. When we watch college, how do you feel when you watch an NFL player get hit?
It's weird. It's like with the
if it's someone you like it's a wide receiver or something that just gets almost his head taken off.
Yeah, if it's somebody I like, then you're like, oh no, that fucking sucks. But if it's somebody that I fucking hate, like say if you know, Tom Brady got sacked or something like that, and something happened to him, you know, that now I hate to use Tom Brady as an example or anybody as an example.
I know, I was going to say if Walt Flanagan ever listens to this, he's immediately never going to talk to us again.
But he's one of those more universally hated figures in football because he's always winning all the time. He's got like X amount of fucking Super Bowl rings, and you want to see people fall.
Compared to how bad you'd feel watching an NFL player get hit compared to a college athlete who
because these
hit.
College athletes they're just kids.
Yeah, so you feel more apathetic. You feel more apathetic because they're a lower rung of society.
And their career's over.
The suffering of people on the lower end, if you feel bad, it's good. You need to feel bad. You need to feel empathy. You need to feel empathy because if you don't, you become apathetic. You let the intrusive thoughts erode your goddamn brain, and then you just act on them because you don't care about suffering.
But then you get a Netflix documentary.
Yeah, but but you live in a junkyard. You might have chopped a bitch up. I don't know.
We're talking about the lower tiers of society and having sympathy for the for like communities and such. A lot of the times that's not the case, especially like you know what happened with serial killers in the 70s, where they would go after prostitutes or like homosexuals and the homeless.
This is the problem. This is the problem. People who don't feel bad about lower rungs of society are psychopaths and facilitate more psychopaths and psychosis. And if you don't knock that shit out, it turns into either nationalism or fascism.
Law enforcement had a term for all of that too. They called it the less dead.
Yeah, less dead. Because if you want to be a cop, you have to be apathetic. If you're wearing a badge that says I can kill someone with impunity, that's what you're saying. Because laws are constructs. Okay?
We're getting into a deep dive now.
We'll turn everybody into anarcho-socialists. But you know, you have this idea of should I feel bad for the rich guy who lost all his money? No, obviously he's got some special drive in him. Maybe he can use it again and make more billions of fucking dollars. Obviously that Elon Musk could do it.
Yeah.
Fuck. He come from nothing. At least that's what he says. But, you know, do I feel bad that one dude's being taxed a bunch of money? No. No, because he has no idea what standard human living is.
He has no idea of the price of a gallon of milk.
No. Yeah, but like he has no idea. Or she has no idea.
Yeah.
You know, I take the life of the people I know as a benchmark of suffering. And then I go and watch these fucking crime things. It's like, oh man, he killed that little girl. She's on her way home. It's like, damn, you feel bad.
Because then all of a sudden you're like, I know a friend that has a little girl.
Yeah, but then you watch some dude who's 86 to 80 motherfuckers, and it's just like, oh no, they put the needle in his arm. Well, fuck him.
Yeah.
Fuck him. He's not a lower rung of society. He took that lower rung and killed it.
Yeah.
You know, he took pride into destroying something socially lesser than him. Mm-hmm. And that right there, anybody, like any CEO is a psychopath. Anyone who can actually just make godless amounts of money. Now let me. There's an amount.
There's an
amount. So you could take people who take their money and invest in the future, either in their employees, their family, or whatever. You know, they're investing. You know, this was like the rule of law in America in the 50s and 40s. It's like, hey, you don't want to pay taxes? Well, build another factory.
Yeah.
You build another factory, you create more jobs. And you know you're helping the nation. You're helping that and
you're stimulating the
you're
economy.
Stimulating a whole fucking society. Now that doesn't happen anymore. So now we have people who are misers who ruin currency and make it worthless.
Yeah.
Crypto.
Everything's
Not even crypto.
I know.
But not even crypto. Crypto is a good idea if you want to get rid of misers.
Yeah.
Because it's a people's money. But you get one guy who has actual money, actual backed military-based money, and he can fuck it up.
Yep.
Okay? He's like, oh, I'm going to invest in Doge. And it's like Doge skyrockets because this guy's going to put influx of money. He didn't. He bought a little bit.
Yeah.
And jacked it up and then sold it all. It's no difference than people who buy coal, solar.
That's what happens with everybody like your Nancy Pelosi's of the world that have these, they invest in their stocks, and then you really just dip out whenever you know shit hits the fan.
And that's why we can't have people over 65 in office.
No.
And that's also why a movie like Wolf of Wall Street became very popular.
And then, so he was targeting people who were socially lesser than him.
Yes. That's why I felt that was a good drawing comparison.
That's what made him evil. But he's not a bad guy. He built a industry.
I'd say Jordan Belfort was still a bad guy.
He's come
Are you bad?
around?
Are you bad if you break the law, or are you bad that you figured out a loophole in a system of corruption?
I think it's option C. He's bad because he took advantage of people hoping to get rich quick. Because the only people that fall for get rich quick schemes are poor people that have only a couple dollars to their name, and they're just crossing their fingers, hoping and praying that this get rich quick scheme is going to work. Back then, that was the penny stocks.
The Uncle David theory.
Yes, invest now in the little penny stock. Put your life savings in penny stocks, and then in 10 years, when this hits, the public trade is going to be huge. And then it wasn't. It was fake inflation.
This works with the Martin Shkreli kind of guy.
I'd say Martin Shkreli's a bad guy too.
Yeah, but he made a great argument against it. He said, "Oh, I'm a bad guy because I raised prices of the drug I sell. You let me do it.
Validation.
You have no right to call me an evil motherfucker because I played within the boundaries of the rules of the game, and then you get mad because people suffer. Okay, that's like people getting mad at NFL players for chop blocking motherfuckers. No, you watch this game for one thing, to watch people suffer. Not because I got a ball to the other side of the fucking court.
You're there to watch people hit the fuck out of each other.
You want people to die. You don't want to say it out loud.
But it's no different than
But if someone died on the field on live television during the Super Bowl, you would be like, in just a quick second, some endorphins rush through your fucking brain, and you're just like, that's my shit. That's my shit.
Now,
well, why do you think like websites like eFucked and eBombs World and Reddit and 4chan?
Those are just fascination of the macabre. The Bud Dwyer, killing himself. It's like, okay, that's fascinating. Why do you do that? And then you read up on it and you create a story. But people who break a ethical law and people who break a moral law are two different monsters.
Yeah.
People who break ethics are just like, oh no, these are the rules of the game.
Yeah.
I figured it out.
Yeah.
It's kind of like playing Guess Who and giving that one person the one that has the guy with the hat.
Yeah.
It's like, do they have a hat? Yes. It's that one. That's your person. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Like, I played within the rules of the game, but it's kind of shitty.
Yeah.
Right? Ethically, as a moral collective, that's what ethics are, a moral collective. We see it as That's kind of shitty, but we never set a new rule in place to fix it. Now we do.
Yeah.
Now we can. And then because we found it, we can cut it out, get it taken care of. But people who break moral laws, we have a bigger hate for because we impact our morals on them.
Yep.
Like, how would you feel if Alex was being attacked by a dog and I grabbed that dog by the collar and put a bullet in its fucking brain? How would you feel? It would shock the shit out of you, wouldn't it?
It would shock me.
No, it wouldn't, because I've done it before. Okay? I probably shouldn't have confessed that. But someone was attacked by a dog. I took that dog.
A rabid fucking dog.
And put it down.
Yeah.
The hard way. Okay?
But it was
moralistically, to me, it made sense.
Because it was either your friend's life or the dog's life.
Yeah.
But someone else could be a part of this conversation like, oh my God, what the fuck is wrong with you? Mm-hmm. Because their morals are being imposed on what I'm thinking.
Right.
And this goes back in history since the first man killed his brother with a rock. Like,
that dog should have had a trial.
Yeah. like it goes to the story of Cain and Abel. Cain killed Abel. Why? Because he thought God loved him more. Mm-hmm. It's probably true. We don't know.
That's just the world according to Cain.
Yeah. But in his morals, he said, no, fuck that. Mm-hmm. I've been breaking my ass, worshiping God and trying to provide, and fuck him for just sitting around being loved. Fuck that. I'm bashing this fucking brains in. And, we use these morals and attack people with them. Mm-hmm. Take the idea of slavery. The idea of slavery. No,
I don't like where this is going.
No, think about it. The idea of slavery is irreprehensible.
Yeah.
It is a terrible thing, always will be, always has been. But to a slaver who worked within the bounds of legality by the society, he was fine.
It was just normal within the culture.
He's like, this isn't against the law.
And with the collective morals of the time, ethically, it was fine. He worked within the bounds of the system. Now, we see that in great men and women in history. It's like George Washington had slaves. Mm-hmm. Now, he got rid of his slaves. He freed them. Mm-hmm. Does that make him a bad guy for having slaves? Or does it make him a good man for getting realizing a wrong? However, he didn't go far enough. That's the problem I have with people who deconstruct history too much. Oh, no, they didn't go far enough. What did you want them to do? What did you want Lincoln to do during the Civil War? Mm-hmm. Not just abolish slavery. Okay, that's what he did.
Right.
But he didn't do it fast enough. Okay? That's what the slavery that was the whole crux of the Civil War. It's one state's right to have slaves because ethically they thought it was right.
Right. Yeah.
Because out of the fucking 20 states we had, it was fine. Mm-hmm. Some states got rid of it. Some states have it. Just like weed, it's like some states have it, some states don't. But, you're piggybacking on human suffering. That's a moralistic problem, not an ethical problem. Okay? So, at what point can we blame history of one person's acts not going far enough to meet our moral guidelines today? Mm-hmm. And I know this has changed philosophically to something else.
A little bit, but there's still a line to be drawn.
But think about slavery. It's a fascination of human suffering.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But I can pay someone to do it.
That's true.
Oh shit. There's a guy here.
They're coming to get you.
Speaking of human suffering.
It's a DoorDash driver. But going back to documentaries, when you watch, let's say the movie about Tommy Lee.
Yeah.
Tell me you didn't have a good time watching that motherfucker suffer and talking to his dick.
Well, that's that whole doc series is about the public's fascination with the invasion of privacy.
Yeah, and that's suffering. Mm-hmm. And it's just another form of it.
Exactly.
And it's awesome. I fucking love it. I do.
Well, and again, that's why we like true crime documentaries.
Yeah. What is it to you personally when you watch a documentary about Jeffrey Dahmer? What really gets you going?
Honestly, just the fascination of it all, because again, it feels so disconnected from something that I could even morally or physically do.
Yeah.
Well, it's like I'm fascinated with the Manson family and how it eradicated the fucking 60s in a lot of ways.
So you can grasp the idea of a cult.
Yeah.
ruining a decade or a generation,
or just
almost.
a collective idea.
Yeah, that hippies, free love and all this, but here's the consequence.
Exactly.
Even though it's not true,
Right.
that's what the society felt at the time. I'm fascinated by the failure of the society that created the dude. I'm fascinated.
I mean,
by,
that's part of it too.
Okay,
exactly.
okay.
Like, for example, the cops that basically fed Jeffrey Dahmer a child.
Yeah.
They let him.
Yeah.
Let
That's
him go.
exactly what
they
happened.
let him go. Oh no, Jeffrey! This dude's running around. This kid who's a victim got loose, drugged, can't speak.
Basically a zombie.
Basically a zombie. And Jeffrey Dahmer's like, "Oh, I'm good. He's with me. He's my buddy."
But because he's one of the lesser of that less dead thing that we brought up.
And the cops were like, "Oh, this gay couple are just having some issues.
Yeah.
Turn him loose." And
Yeah.
then he ate that dude. Mm-hmm. And that's that. It fascinates me that they were blind to it because they were apathetic.
Was it a willing blindness?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't care.
They
really
didn't
don't.
want to deal with any homosexual issues or anything
No,
like
it was
that.
the
This
80s.
is the 80s.
They don't give a fuck about them.
Just get the way he's like, this is the 80s, man.
and that goes into policy making in the 80s.
Yeah.
Why didn't we respond fast enough to AIDS?
Because it was mostly
It was gay cancer.
it was interpreted or was associated with gay culture.
Drug addicts, blacks, and gays. No one cared. No one in the echelon of society who could do
AIDS,
something.
crack.
But nobody wanted to do anything, so we let it go. Now it's fascinating to watch about,
Yeah, because we get tons of documentaries on all of that stuff.
and we need it. If not, our society would go insane.
Go insane or just repeat itself?
No, we would have a breakdown of society
Okay.
to the point where we need the bread and circuses. We need the live music. We need the sporting events. We need that distraction. If not, we're going to kill someone in our house.
Quit putting metal utensils in the pan.
Oh my God. She brought 2-ply instead of triple ply. I need my angel soft, you dumb bitch. You need that because it keeps those thoughts from just blasting out. It's like, and having what that guy did. All right, he thought about killing someone, and he thought about it. He had no distraction.
And it was a random person. Like, it was because what the interrogator even asked him, he's like, now, did this person do something to you? And you could hear the tone of his voice change. He was offended by that question. He's like, no. It's like, it was almost like he was just like, why would you think this person did something to me? No. So it's like, it was just a random fucking person he picked. And he even asked him, he's like, well, why did you have him drive you to the Walmart first before like driving you up further north? He's like, I just wanted to get him out of town.
Yeah.
And so it's like, even the logic behind it didn't make sense. He was like, he just wanted to get him out of town. You just get in the car, show him the gun, and be like, drive. Which is what you did at the Walmart, rather, 30 minutes away.
Well, you got to think about,
And that's what's just fascinating
how
about
far
it.
was he trying to stop himself? He got to a point and kept going to the next point, and then you get to the point of no return.
Right.
And he got to that point. He said, "Fuck it, I'm in it now." And that intrusive thought's still blaring. Do it. Fucking do it, man. Your life sucks. Let's get a release.
That's what I like reading about, like all the context around it. Like, say, the Ed Gein story. Like, he didn't have an outlet to,
Yeah, he was a hoarder who lived in the fucking woods.
Yeah. He just wanted to cross dress and all that shit too.
And because he wasn't allowed to do it, what'd he do?
Just skinned a
He
bunch of
went
people
ape
and
shit.
skinned a bunch of people and wore their skin.
Today, if it was today, Ed Gein would be fine.
Yeah, he would.
He'd be like that
If
guy.
Ed Gein had the internet,
Yeah.
he'd be great.
I mean, if Hitler just had one person going, hey, your art's cool.
If he was on DeviantArt, yeah, he'd be great. Landscapes by Hitler.
And we wouldn't have had all those problems that we had.
Hey, this is a eccentric guy.
Why do you think we have a podcast?
But yeah, just some eccentric guy from Germany who had a hobby of painting and had some weird ideas on how to keep his country great.
And I like to get shat on.
Yeah, whatever.
Scheisse.
But like whatever floats your boat. But like a lot of it is, creative outlets.
Yeah.
What can I do to distract myself from
To
my
not kill a person.
Yeah. You need it. I do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I said we have a podcast.
Yeah,
That's one way to stay active and creative.
Yeah, because if I stuck at my job too long, I would blow my fucking brains out. That's another intrusive thought.
But again, that happens with everyone. So again, maybe that's the new ad campaign. Instead of like, keep the arts in school, it's like, keep the arts in school so you don't get a mass murderer.
Yeah.
Let your kid paint so he doesn't paint the walls with your blood.
I changed policy for all schools.
Well, this might have been a little shorter than usual, but it's maybe a good Kickstarter into us maybe doing some more true crime. We've been teasing one. Yeah, we've been teasing doing a little bit more true crime, and y'all got your cryptid show and everything else. So
I don't like that like backhanded compliment. I don't like that.
What?
Your cryptid show.
You're fucking Bigfoot horse shit.
Yeah.
Oh, it's our entertainment show. It's our show in which we pick a topic and over talk it.
You and your bands.
Yeah, yo, as long as it wasn't little bands.
Yes.
The Henry Rollins bit of like, he's like, I hate when women say you're little something. He's like, oh, tell me about your little project. Tell me about your little band. It's not little! Yeah. Well, for this episode of the Couch Potatoes, I've been Alex.
This is Cap.
And do you have any sort of final thoughts for us, Chris?
I had a woman at my work blame me for a miscarriage, and I've been carrying that in my mind, and I'm just like, yep, that's human suffering. I'm running off that right now. I didn't do anything. I'm not a baby killer, but she said I am. So that's cathartic for me.